For this walkway, only 1 inch of compacted sand is required. Spread out about 1.5 inches of sand with a concrete rake. It also has to be damp in order for it to compact, but not too wet. Use a pump sprayer or something similar and spritz the sand as needed. Don't let the surface dry out. I use a hand tamper moving back and forth in rows while overlapping the previous line about halfway. You don't want to walk on the compacted sand, so lay down plywood to kneel on. Let's go over making and using a screed board. For areas up to 5 feet wide, I use a 1x4. 5 feet and greater, I use a 1x6, and so on. I notched both ends of the screed board for whatever height I want the sand to finish at. That's the nice part about using wood forms and setting them at the finished height of the pavers. The board can always be modified for different heights. I'll bevel the bottom of the screed board on a 45-degree angle, leaving about 1/4 inch or less to scrape with. This minimizes pulling up sand and making voids. For this area, I screwed on an aluminum angle I had laying around to stiffen the board and also to be able to scrape and flatten the 12-inch wide section of crushed granite for the base of the raised platform. Normally, when I'm using a screed board, I shimmy it from side to side as I'm pulling the material back towards me. When it's screeded properly, it should look as smooth as this. Ready to set pavers. If you look real hard, you'll be able to see the pink string line I placed all the way to the gate as a guide to keep the pavers straight. My method of compacting the sand moist and screeding it to a smooth, flat surface allows for the pavers to be set with minimal height adjustment, and absolutely no need to vibrate them once the sand is brushed into the joints. It's a pretty basic pattern, which makes it a faster installation. It does get much trickier at the raised platform base. To adjust the pavers for height, tap on the raised ones with a rubber mallet until all the edges are even with the surrounding ones. You'll need to keep your other hand on the other side of the paver while you're tapping it to minimize bouncing. Filling the joints with sand. Spread out the sand with a push broom and in all directions over the joints while applying pressure to push the sand into the joints. Of course, it would help if my tripod leg wasn't in the way, but hey, nobody's perfect. This needs to be done at least 4 times and sprayed with water using a hose nozzle set to shower each time the sand is broomed in. The pavers are only 2 inches thick. Thicker pavers would require additional applications. Now the fun begins. The raised platform. 4 inches is the highest the raised platform can be. The design called for 4-inch high hardscape blocks and 2-inch pavers on top, which adds up to 6 inches, so the blocks have to be lowered 2 inches. The bottoms of the hardscape blocks will be installed on the same plane as the pavers. I placed an extra row of pavers to support the back of the hardscape blocks temporarily. Trace the profile of the blocks with a pencil onto the pavers below. I'm going to use a wet saw to cut the pavers. I'll have to trace over the pencil lines with black marker so the water doesn't wash them away.
Here's a link for a short video showing how to cut pavers in these intricate shapes. It will show you in great detail how to successfully achieve these cuts. This concludes part 2. Come back for part 3, the completion. All the custom details involved in the raised platform front, marking curves with pipe, provisions for drainage around foundation at platform, and much more. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, give me a like, share, and definitely comment. But mostly, thank you for watching.